Let's talk about the Green Bay Packers here for a little bit. Look, this time of the year, we're obviously post-draft, looking at OTAs, trying to see what young guys, what rookies are stepping up. We're trying to see what new additions to every roster is going to have the biggest impact and help accelerate the team to the next level. And the Green Bay Packers, to their credit, have a lot of great rookies, a lot of great new additions that are doing well. But I think everyone is kind of forgetting the biggest move the Packers, maybe the biggest move any team made this offseason, and that was the Packers making a big change at defensive coordinator, bringing in a college guy, Hafley, to run the defense. And it looks like this potentially was the biggest move out of anybody this entire offseason. Let's go into this latest article from ESPN, then we'll talk about it more in detail on the other side. All right, for now, you'll have to take Kenny Clark's word for it when it comes to the Green Bay Packers' new defense and the man running it, or Xavier McKinney's, or Colby Wooden's, or Eric Stokes, or anyone who has been involved in the transition from fired defensive coordinator Joe Barry to new hire Jeff Hafley. I love Hafley, said Stokes, the Packers' fourth-year cornerback. I love how his mindset is and everything. He just wants you to ball. He's going to put you in the positions. He ain't going to make you overthink anything and all that stuff. He just wants you to go out there and have fun and just play 110 miles an hour. And that's what I love about Hafley, to where he always says, I'm going to go ahead and take the bullet when things don't go well. You just go out there and just have fun and you just play. And it's different for every position. Yeah, I think what we're seeing out of Hafley and what we're seeing and hearing from the Packers defense so far is absolutely outstanding, because that was the big question mark last year. I think it hurt them in the playoff run. So I think this is obviously good news for Green Bay. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. But first, Packers fans, in the comment section below, obviously we're talking new defensive coach Jeff Hafley and what he could bring to the table. But what was the best coaching hire, in your opinion, in Green Bay Packers history? And really dig into the weeds here. Not just talking head man. Let's go deep into the weeds, talking about assistants. Give us what you think was the best assistant coach hiring in Packers history, and put it in the comment section below. But Miles, what do you think of the potential impact of, I think, probably the biggest under the radar move any team has made this offseason?
Yeah, Nick, when I look at this Packers secondary, I know there's a lot of guys that are studs on it. I know there's a lot of talent here. But when I look at the grades, when I look at what's been going on, it's been quite underwhelming. Stokes has started out, he's supposed to be a great guy, first round draft pick out of Georgia. Came on, decent for a rookie, had that 65.5 PFF grade, gone downhill every year since then, 53 and then a 51.5. So that's that 2021 to 2023 time frame that Joe Barry was there. Jair Alexander, I'm going to give you some grades here. You got a 73.4 in 21, an 80.3 in 2022, and a 75.9 in 2023. Those are fine. But in 2020, he was a 90.7 grade. So there was an incredible dip off when Joe Barry came. It seemed like Jair Alexander came in here, got his feet under him as a rookie, got low 70s, and then finally that third year, he turned the corner, got up to that elite grade, showed he was the shutdown corner with that 90.7 PFF grade in 2020. Then Joe Barry came and he had a massive drop off again, and he really just wasn't able to play as aggressively and as, corner focused as he would want to. Now in comes Hafley. Everybody's excited about this guy. Before he was doing big things at Boston College, he was a DB coach, so he has relatability with these guys. He values the DB position very heavily. So I think him coming in here, we can only talk about, like we're saying, it's OTAs. We can only talk about what could happen. But the fact that these guys, who we know are good players, are already saying it's so much different, it's so much better, we're going to be more aggressive. I think this is going to be huge for the Green Bay Packers stylistically. I think a guy like Hafley fits this team way better than Joe Barry ever could have even dreamt of doing.
We were talking about this on a different video we did over this past week, but it's a great quote from Albert Einstein. I love it. It's where genius really is taking something complex and making it simple. In football words, that means getting your players to play fast, right? And that's what we're hearing from Hafley. And I think that's a great sign, because your point, Miles, you brought up, I think it's right on the money, is that this is a talented group at all three levels. Hafley just had them underperform. The Packers, to me, are so interesting, because if you look at their collective grades in 2023, they're one of the few teams that, most teams, when you look at their defense, they may have a great set of cover guys, but their run defense isn't so good. Or they may have a great pass rush, but their tackling isn't great, right? Just because of talent, right? Because obviously no team is perfect. Salary cap restrictions, you're going to have weaknesses on your team. The Packers are one of the few teams that, when you look at their rankings, they're all in the exact same spot. So overall, as a defense in 2023, they finished 20th in the NFL. What's interesting is they finished 21st in run defense. They finished 14th in tackling. They finished in pass rush, it's right in front of me, 16th, and in coverage grade, they finished 18th. So right around all that same bucket, right? And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the talent allow the Packers to get up to average, despite just beating their head up against the wall with Joe Barry's defensive schemes. And I think that was something that was kind of missed this entire offseason, right? Is that we talk about what teams added, what players, what great draft picks, different teams made. But we've seen what the addition or sometimes the subtraction of a coordinator and assistant coach can do to a team. The Philadelphia Eagles in 2022 were unbelievable offensively and really good defensively as well. They lose their coordinators. What happens? Suddenly they're a wild card team that gets bounced out really early on. They look not nearly the same, right? So I think we're seeing a kind of similar dynamic factor out here with the Green Bay Packers, where it's sort of addition by subtraction. They got rid of Barry, who was bad. They added Hafley, who looks like he's off to a strong start. And this defense, we're going to see the talent rise up, and we're going to see a complete defense move into not just average to below average last year, which we saw in PFF grades. I think we're going to see a top 10 unit because we're going to talk about a group that has the talent to be very good. Now they've got a defensive coordinator that will allow them to play fast, keep things simple, unleash that talent. Again, that's what LaFleur does, right? He unleashes talent on offense with Jordan Love and all the wide receivers and all the young playmakers they have. Now they've got a corresponding defensive coordinator that can have the same effect for the defense.